we're back, everyone. We're back. News and Talk 1380 WAOK. Real Estate 101, Mary Gill. So here's the thing, guys. Deal of the decade will be at 2 o'clock coming to you from both Fulton County. That's a really high-priced one. I wanted to talk about it last week. I didn't have the opportunity to. It's very pricey. However, I went and looked at this property, and it's worth it. Okay, well, I'd probably negotiate it down some. I think it's a little, they're padding it a little bit probably for a negotiation. And I did talk to the agent. She's like, what do you think? I'm like, wow. You want good living? This is it, people. Okay? That's coming to you from Fulton County and Roswell. And then I'm going to give you a normal, middle of the range, nice little HUD foreclosure, which you can get with $100 down in Henry County. I love it. Love. Coming up at 2 o'clock. Okay. So I'm going to give you a little insight into how I grew to be so enamored and passionate about title. Sounds crazy, right? But true. So as a real estate paralegal, when you give you some insight into this job, and if in fact any young people want this job, this is how this goes. There are 3 portions of the closing process, and most major firms have them broken up into these 3 sections. Okay, all the big ones, the Weissman, the McCullough, all of them. These are the 3 jobs, people. If you want to get your young people into one of these, it will segue into other things. Okay. For the closing department, there are pre-closers. The pre-closer does exactly that. They call and get the information for the buyer and the seller, make contact with the agents. They start gathering information in reference to who these people are, all of that. They do the pre-closing aspect of it. The pre-closer also orders the title. I'm going to tell you how this works. When you order title, you order it from a title examiner. We're going to say John Q. Examiner, okay? That's his only job. He has his own company. He goes out, hey, John Q. Examiner, can you give us title on ABC property? Oh, sure. So he runs out and he searches title on it, and he comes back and boom, he gives the title report to the pre-closer. Still in the pre-closer's job. The pre-closer doesn't do anything with that title. Nothing. They just order it. They're not trained to know what title is, what the title issues are, how to cure title issues, none of that. They just order it. This is all part of the pre-closing process. So that's one job for the pre-closer. And I have to tell you that they do not get paid what the closer gets paid. All right, because the closer has the major portion of the job. So now, boom, pre-closer gives it on to closer and says, here's all the information to begin the closing process, closer. And closer's like, thank you, pre-closer. And now we have the closer's job. Now, typically, the closer has been a pre-closer. That's how they got there. They learned all of the initial process and now they're going to move into being a closer. So the closer gathers all the information from the pre-closer. They review title and they see, title examiner says that there is a quitclaim deed in question on this property. What does that mean? Well, the title examiner has given them copies of everything, or sometimes the title examiner doesn't. But the title examiner typically gives them a copy of the problematic title issue. So the closer is now learning or has learned about how to cure title problems. On that title report is also outstanding taxes, what the taxes are, whether there's any liens, anything. This is all the title examiner has got put in his report from the examination, put it in a report and given it to the pre-closer, passes it to the closer. The closer's like, Taxes have not been paid for 2025. There's an outstanding water bill. And surprise, we have a quitclaim deed problem. So now, here's what the closer does. That's why they get paid the big bucks. They say, can I, as a closer, fix this problem? And how do I fix this problem? And the attorney, because, they're off doing attorney things, they leave it in the hands of the closer to fix it. Sometimes it cannot be fixed by the closer. So then the closer goes, hey, attorney, there's a problem here. Can you give me advice on how to fix this? And the attorney says, okay, well, we're going to need a corrective deed. We're going to have to file an affidavit because somebody messed this up by doing this quitclaim deed on their own. We're going to have to fix this, and here's how you do it. Boom, 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 boom. The attorney says, this is how you do it. Now, the closer takes that information, and because they're working under the authority of an attorney here in Georgia, they take all that information, and now the closer does what they tell them to do, and they fix it in order to prepare for closing. Some things cannot be fixed, not by the closer or the attorney. Now, if the closer has a lot of experience, they already know that attorney can't fix this. But of course, they're still going to go to the attorney and say, hey, attorney, this is a big problem with this quitclaim deed. And the attorney's like, yep, we can't fix it. And then guess what they do? And this is something nobody knows. They contact the title company, which my title company of choice is always Chicago Title. When we close my transactions, the attorney in the law office that, if I can write them into the contract during the negotiation process, this is who we use, Chicago Title. Why? Well, I used to work at Chicago Title. Why? Because I've written a ton of Chicago Title policies as a paralegal. I've done them. I know them like the back of my hand. I know what they will insure and what they will not insure. I know what they will pay out and what they won't pay out. I've done that part. So we go to the title company. Hey, title company, attorney at the title company. So attorney in the law office now goes to the attorney in the title company because the title company has to insure this title. They're the ultimate liability of this title lands with the title company, Chicago Title. They're insuring it. Just like insuring your house, they're insuring the title. That's the title insurance you buy. So we go to the attorney at the title company. Hey, attorney at the title company, this is a problem. Can we fix this? No, you can't fix it. But this is what we're going to do. We're going to either one, and this is maybe a little confusing if it is 404-726-1380, 404-726-1380. The attorney at the title company, who is the last stop to insure title, says, we're going to either insure over it or take exception to it.